My name is Nigel King. I'm the Managing Director of Necprotech Limited. I'm here today to present you and your company with a unique safety product, Necprotech.
Some Kiwi ingenuity has come up with a solution to some tasks that can be a pain in the neck. A New Zealand inventor has designed a product that can ease the load of people who spend a lot of time looking up.
Balancing act, if you like. The head's probably about the weight of a bowling ball. So when you're looking back for long periods of time, your muscle system is really working overtime to keep that weight from basically flopping right backwards. And if you're doing that for extended periods of time, I mean over a lifetime, you'll be putting a huge amount of strain on those top segments in your neck.
Try the Necprotech challenge. Look up continuously for 5 minutes and feel the discomfort for yourself.
There's a lot of people, a lot of tradesmen that work for extended periods with their head craned backwards, looking upwards, and they get tired and pain will start to creep in, and they'll try and work through that pain threshold. And that's the unfortunate thing, because that's when they run the risk of a strain injury. Those people craning their necks back and suffering strain injuries are not necessarily aware that occupational overuse syndrome over a long period of time can mean that they can compromise their working future. I think it would be quite good to have Necprotect as a mechanism to enable them to take a bit of neck support, take the strain off.
Employers in the United States and Canada, and in fact, in every common law jurisdiction, Australia, New Zealand, England, have all got these multiple levels of burdens. Now, how do we measure the obligation, and how do we measure whether or not they've met that obligation? What we do is we look at the risk. We look at the type of harm. If it's a few dollars lost in the pocket, that's a minor harm. If it's human injury, then it's a very serious risk, and the gravity is very high.
As I'm leaning back, it's really helping my neck. Feels very comfortable. Feels very comfortable. Feels very comfortable. Feels very comfortable. That's make a big difference, man. I reckon 90% of the people who work in this industry should wear something like this for the condition of what we work in.
Better not to be in that situation in the first place. So if you can actually take steps proactively to be supporting your neck if you're having to look up for long periods of time, if you're placing undue stress on the body in any form, minimising that to the maximum extent that you possibly can, and of course this is what Necprotech is doing. Rather than exposing painters, decorators, climbers, below us to levels of stress that their body shouldn't have to take, basically you've got an aid here that can step in and prevent the situation before it occurs, if you like.
Occupational health specialist would say that spinal problems are probably the nightmare of all nightmares, whether it's the lumbar and the lower spine or the neck and the upper spine. They are the most difficult to manage, they're the most difficult to diagnose, and have the worst prognosis for future problems. So what I would say is that a spinal risk is in the most serious and has the most gravity of harm. Now what that means is that the balance then shifts to the employer, that they must take positive steps, and they have a strong obligation to take positive steps of avoidance, of management, of anticipation, and prevention. And the duty of prevention, of course, is far greater than the duty to remedy it when it's too late, because you don't want a person who's permanently disabled. That's an incredible cost. So the idea is prevention, and if there is a simple product of reasonable cost in the marketplace, then I would say there's a strong likelihood that a court, for example, could say there was an obligation to take this step.
Then think about somebody else to do that in a 9-to-5 job, 5 days a week.
And they are a nightmare because it's almost impossible to rehabilitate somebody if they don't wish to be rehabilitated, and what you're looking at is a career's earnings, a lifetime of future salary earnings, which will go, when you add the lawyer's fees, to 7 figures.